Well, the armorer on the set of the movie Rust, where a cinematographer, Helena Hutchins, was killed, has been found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed faces up to 18 months in prison and a $5,000 fine. Her lawyers say she will appeal that verdict. Hutchins died in 2021 when actor Alec Baldwin shot her during rehearsal. The weapon he fired was not supposed to have been loaded with live ammunition, and he denies pulling the trigger. Through 10 days of testimony, prosecutors argued Gutierrez-Reed failed to do her job and ignored established safety protocols.
She didn't know there were live rounds on set, and the reason she didn't know was through her own negligence, her own recklessness, her own willful disregard for the safety of other people.
Prosecutors also charged her with tampering with evidence for transferring a bag of cocaine to someone else after police interviewed her. The jury found her not guilty of that crime. Alec Baldwin's trial is scheduled to start in July, and he has also pleaded not guilty. Joining us now is defense attorney Alexandra Kazarian. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. Were you surprised by this verdict?
You know, I think the jury did the right thing. They realized that she wasn't the one that brought the live ammunition to the scene. She's not the one that loaded it in the gun knowingly, but that it was her job to know whether there was live ammunition on the scene. So she wasn't culpable, but what she failed to do was a factor in the death. And so I think they picked the right charges.
Okay, so now looking ahead to Alec Baldwin's trial, this is not only about whether he pulled the trigger and should have known not to, but also about his role as a producer overseeing operations on the set, right?
Right. And I think that is going to be a big part of his prosecution, because the prosecution was arguing that she didn't create that danger. So who did? So it seems obvious that they're going to say he's the one who had a hand in creating it because of the steps that he took that did not make a safe environment on the scene.
Right. There were a lot of people coming out later saying they didn't feel safe, that they had asked for better safety protocols, that it was a very low budget operation. And so I'm sure all of that will play into the trial.
Right. And apparently producers rushed them to go through with the scenes, even though the safety protocols hadn't been put in place. So there was a walkout, I think, the day before. And I think that is a big reason why the armorist wasn't really held as culpable, because once she got there, it was already in such disarray that there wasn't much she could do except to check that gun, which she didn't do.
I mean, that was her job. Alec Baldwin's trial is going to involve the same judge, the same prosecutors, some of the same witnesses. Having seen Gutierrez-Reed's trial played out, isn't he already kind of at an advantage because he watched how they worked?
Yes, absolutely. Knowing the temperament of the judge, knowing how witnesses will react to certain questions, knowing what they've already said and being able to use that testimony to your advantage, it's a huge advantage. Absolutely.
Okay, well, we will see how it all plays out. Alexandra Kazarian, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.